Hello everyone, it is Aussies Elect back with another video about the South Australian state election. This video is going to be a little update, and we're mostly going to be looking at the betting sites, which I'll get up now, to see what they are saying about the election. So we actually have electorate betting now, or seat betting. But firstly I want to show the sworn-in government. Labor have taken a divisive lead. When I made the previous video, the Liberals were actually ahead on this sworn-in government betting odds, but Labor are definitely ahead now. They're definitely the favourites according to Sportsbet, and it seems to make sense based on how they're feeling about the electorate betting. Now, for some reason on my proxy, I can't access the other markets. I can only access the key seats. There really isn't too much to talk about with the other markets anyway, but I will talk about the sort of more notable ones. But for now, we'll look at the fact that the seat of Adelaide, which is currently a Liberal Party seat, says it's going to Labor. Elder, another Liberal Party seat, looks like it's just going to Labor. Seat of Cavill, it's saying that that it's going to stick with the current independent. The seat of King, another seat on the Liberal Party, going to Labor. And Narunga says here that an independent will keep the seat. And interestingly, Newland going to Labor as well, with the independent Frances Bedford. They're predicting that she is not going to win that seat. Likewise for the seat of Stewart, they're thinking that Jeff Brock is not going to win the seat of Stewart. And then the seat of Waite is like it's a 3-person contest, but they think it's most likely going to go to Liberal. So the other seats of note are Mount Gambier. They're betting that that independent Troy Bell will keep that seat, and Devonport. They're also betting that the Liberal Party will keep that seat, but it's sort of closer than you would have expected. So all four of these most marginal seats, the betting sites are predicting will go to Labor. None of these Labor seats are predicted to go to Liberal, and then Colton, Hartley, Waite, etc. are all predicted to stick with the Liberal Party with varying degrees of probability. So according to the poll bludger, there was a polls by the Shop Distributive and Allied employees got a massive margin of error, but it did show Stephen Marshall trailing in his seat of Dunstan, but also that the Liberals were comfortably ahead in the seat of Colton, which is currently a Liberal seat and has a margin of 6.2%. But Labor all they need to do is to win the election is to win those 4 seats. So if we go back to the map, I'll put in what they're expecting is going to happen. So they're not expecting that the independent from Frome is going to take the seat of Stewart. They're expecting independents are going to keep Narangba, Cavill and Mount Gambier. And they're expecting Labor's going to win back Florey, take King, take Newland, take Adelaide, and take Elder. Oh, and Liberal Party will win back Waite, but that one's sort of like dicey. Okay, so this is kind of the result predicted by the betting markets. They do predict a Labor majority, but only just. But it's also safe to say that if Labor does not win, say, the seat of Elder, which is the closest one on the betting markets, if we go back to it, even if Labor doesn't win the seat, they'll still end up with 23 seats to the Liberal Party's 21, and that will imply that they'll still take government, but under a, as it's called in Australia, a minority government. Even though with the support of independents, technically it's not a minority government because they do have confidence to supply. I don't know why they call it a minority government in Australia, where everyone else would in the world, or particularly in Europe, would not call it a minority government if they have confidence to supply in a majority. But that's just some semantics for you, so I mean it's not really that important. So I want to also talk about the Legislative Council, because we do have some betting on that as well. And mainly the betting it's pretty simple. It's just who's going to get a seat. And I think everyone can guarantee that the Liberal, Labor, and the Greens will get a seat. Like these honestly, if you want to make some easy money, just put 10 grand on Labor winning a seat in the Legislative Council, and you'll make like $100 just off that. Maybe I should do that. I don't know what the maximum number it is, but anyway. So Liberal, Labor winning is almost a surety. The Greens almost a surety. I guess that's about a 5% chance that they won't win the seat. I don't know how mathematics works, but and then we've got SA Best, Family First, Liberal Democrats, Less Government, More Freedom, the Nationals, Real Change SA, One Nation, SA Party, Australian Family Party, which is Bob Day's party, Advance. We got a real smorgasbord of minor parties here that some of them predicted they could get somewhere. Pretty much all up to Real Change SA. Maybe One Nation. I actually think that One Nation could get a seat. So I think, judging by the polling that we've seen. So I don't know. I don't know if One Nation really. I think it's a pretty good bet, actually. I think I'd put some money on it if I could. An interesting thing that happened recently was that the Liberal Democrats actually drew first position on the ballots. And when I say first position, it means furthest on the left. Which usually helps, and in the past when the Liberal Democrats have gotten first on the ballot, they've done the wonderful thing of confusing people into voting for them instead of the Liberal Party. But I don't think it's going to happen that much this time, because the Liberal Democrats kind of scored a little bit of an own goal by naming themselves Liberal Democrats, Less Government, More Freedom. I think they would have done better if they just confused people and just had their name as the Liberal Democrats. This is just going to make people not vote for, like, they're going to skip them and go like, oh, that's definitely not the Liberal Party, and they'll skip them. So they might get a little bit more vote based on just like, oh, I want less government and more freedom, and they might, get a little bit more votes from that. But I think they're going to lose a lot of votes of people who would have been otherwise just confused about Liberal Democrats and would have voted for them. But yeah, I don't know. One Nation, could get a seat, could not. SA Best could get a seat, could not. Liberal Democrats could do well because they're on the first position, but I don't really think so, to be honest. Family First, I don't know if they can come back from the wilderness. And it's really weird that like Bob Day is in like a different party, the Australian Family Party. But the Nationals are actually back in. So like last time we discussed how the Nationals weren't in the last election; they didn't really compete, but they are definitely in this election. They're taking place in the lower house and in the upper house. So I don't really have too much more to say about them, but I don't know what to expect for this election. I think SA Best is probably going to get a seat. They're not going to get more than one. But the betting sites, I don't know if I had money on that. So this hasn't really changed type of government form, apart from the Labor majority is narrowed a lot. Labor minority still $4. I think it was like $4.50 last time I checked, but I think that's a pretty good bet as well. And I think that's pretty much it for the betting. So I just want to talk a little bit about this interesting sort of model for the South Australian state election, which, according to this website, it's predicting a Labor victory, and it's predicting 64 in 100 chance that Labor will get a majority. If you include minority, then it's a 71% chance, and then like a 22% chance the Liberals will be able to form government. So not looking good for the Liberal Party at the moment. There is a debate coming up this week that nobody's probably going to care about, and it's probably not going to make much impact unless, like, literally the leader, Peter Malakanasis, I'm sorry, I can't say his name. I failed you, someone. Unless he completely, I don't know, has a heart attack on stage. I don't know. But yeah, 72% chance Labor will win more seats. Liberals win, and it's only gotten closer since, I don't know why, the February 26th, maybe that was when the news poll came out, I'm not sure, but yeah, so yes, definitely at the moment it's looking like a Labor victory. This may change. If something amazing happens, I will make another video, but for now I just wanted to make this short little video about these interesting little betting odds. Thank you for watching, everyone. Goodbye.